Hi there, and welcome to day 12 of the DCT 28 Digital Detox. Today we're going to remember, this is the second cycle of 9 days, right? And it's day 12. So we're 2 days in to the audit. So we've done observe and allow, given us plenty of time to really watch ourselves, but from a place of compassion. And now we're going into audit with an emphasis on developing an internal SWOT system. All right. So we talked about this strengths, but we called it shifts, weaknesses. We're going to call that willpower, opportunities, and temptations. So today we're going to talk about weakness, but I don't like that word. I don't think we're talking about weakness here when we talk about our relationship with technology. I think we can flip it over. So think of it as a coin. So think of weakness as a coin, one side of a coin. And when you flip it over, so imagine it's the tail, and then when you flip it over, it's the head, and that's willpower, right? So just try this neuroscientific trick. It is a trick, I think, because I think when we reframe, we can be a bit more fluid in how we approach a weakness. So let's flip it on its head and let's call it willpower. Now, there may be some areas which we're going to explore today where we could simply exhibit, show up with more willpower. All right. So we're going to focus on a positive here. I also want to bring in the idea of the sabotage. Sabotage is always going to be there, but remember, we're developing skill sets, tools, and techniques to hack sabotage. So we're going to talk about what underlies the real issue here. What is the real issue? The real issue here, when we talk about digital addiction, what we're talking about is dopamine addiction. All right. Now that's in your brain. It's the reward. It drips down. It's a chemical, and it gives you a temporary feeling of buoyancy, of joy, of excitement. That's dopamine. That's what it does. It's a brain drug, if you will. It modifies your mood, right? So what we're talking about really is the modern dilemma of being dopamine addicts. All of us, we're all raised in a society that nurtures this type of neuro wiring, okay? Because it makes us really good consumers, like Pavlov's dog. But when we come down to it, there's nothing wrong with the brain rewarding or anticipating something pleasurable. What we're talking about here is artificial dopamine payloads, and that's what technology delivers. So number one, let's talk about two things here. Let's talk about what is dopamine release, that dopamine drop that we get through doom scrolling, for example. What is it doing? Is it covering the root cause of our boredom? You know, when we cite boredom or stress, is it covering the root cause of our boredom or stress or whatever, fill the blank in, like a Band-Aid on a deep wound or a painkiller that temporarily masks the symptoms? Second thing to think about, does it entertain and distract us, enabling chronic procrastination and continued apathy? Now, apathy is a deep-seated emotion. It's the feeling of being trapped in a situation, circumstance, perhaps even a relationship beyond our control. And it leaves us, or it can leave us, feeling powerless. So what we want to do is we want to always remember our really handy hack to sabotage, and it's called sabotage, and it stands for stop in your tracks, audit, because observation targets autopilot and generates energy. What kind of energy? Life energy. chi, prana, life force. That's what we're talking about when we talk about energy. So weakness really is simply a lack of willpower. It's like a muscle that hasn't been strengthened through discipline. So weakness leads to a lack of willpower, a belief that we cannot change our reality. Now, here's an interesting fact. Apathetic, procrastinating people are more likely to consume and buy things they don't need, which is why social media and technology targets and fosters and creates those ingredients, those sets of circumstances and emotions in the first place. So, screen time and doom scrolling are synthetic hits of dopamine that do not address the root causes of our anxiety or boredom or depression. They temporarily numb the signals that our higher power, the powered I am, that is all things, needs nothing, is infinite and unlimited. You couldn't sell anything to the unpowered I am because it just is. So this is why, let me get back to my notes. This is why the unpowered I am is constantly what it's trying to do, the unpowered I am, because it is so compassionate and wise, because it is observing. It never really, it's not switched off. Just because you don't think about it doesn't mean it's switched off. So your unpowered I am is constantly trying to send you little hints and signals. And those are feelings of discomfort. So those negative or those apathetic or that emptiness that sometimes we feel, those are actually good things. They're signs from our higher consciousness that we're not paying attention to something. So this is why we escape. This is why we often will jump into screen time and abandon ourselves to it. And it's also why the come down. I'm reading my own notes today. I made some notes this morning. That's why I keep looking down. The come down, the emptiness that happens afterwards, after you've had a binge, right? So just think about a binge, doom scrolling, right? You said you're going to do it for 10 minutes. An hour and a half later, you're still doing it. You can't remember a single thing you've seen, but an hour and a half is gone, okay? Because you've ignored those hints and those tips and those little signals, when you come out of that, it feels empty. It feels like the unpowered I am has gone. It hasn't gone, but it has pulled back. It's pulled back and it's allowing you to see the void, not the void, the creative void, the organic void that is the multiverse. I'm talking about the matrix void, the doom scrolling void, the emptiness, the hollowness. It feels really challenging after an hour and a half of doom scrolling to realize that you've been doing absolutely nothing and you feel bad. We all feel bad afterwards. We're like, oh God, I said I was going to do 10 minutes. I did an hour and a half. It's a familiar feeling. So you might say, well, no, that's not the case with me. For me, it's my little pleasure. It's my downtime. It's my entertainment and I'm in control. To which I would say, great. If it's not a problem for you, don't change a thing. But if between the lines, what you're really saying is, I want to cut down on the time I spend on XYZ, or it stops me doing stuff I need to get done, or it prevents me from being with my family, or what I watch is mind rot and quite often banal and idiotic, or it interferes with my work performance and career opportunities, well, then what we're talking about isn't weakness, it's a lack of willpower. Because you and only you have the ability to limit the time that you spend on your device. No one's put a gun to your head. Now, as I was writing this morning, I remember as a little girl going into my mum's kitchen and saying, "Mum, I'm bored." And my mother would say, "If you're bored, I'll give you something to do." And how quickly did we leave the kitchen? How quickly did we, as children, go to find something to do? Boredom is a natural part of life. We are not meant to be engaged and enthralled all the time. Your brain cannot deal with it. But that is what's happening with our children today. They don't tolerate boredom. I remember as a child daydreaming out of the window on a long car journey or singing songs. I remember going outside in the garden or in the front room and building forts out of cushions and blankets. So when we talk about boredom, we're just talking about an opportunity to do something constructive, an opportunity to create something, or not just daydream. So when we go on a train journey, maybe we commute to work and we consider that dead time. There really is no such thing as dead time, because time on this planet is moving in one direction and the clock is ticking. There is no more, there's not an hour that is more important than another hour. So your commute, your downtime, your dead time is still precious. Now, this is something that I do, confession time. I used to use my commute time to do doom scrolling. That was when I did it. But I've been thinking about this morning. I've been thinking about those train rides. And I remember a time before screens became a thing where people would just sit on the train and either read a book or a newspaper. They would daydream, or they would look around and strike up small conversations. I'm old enough to remember that time. So these are things that, all of those things don't exhaust us. They don't create that sense of a wasted moment. And I can't tell you how many friendships or how many encounters I've had in a commute or in so-called downtime that have become great friendships just because I looked up, caught someone's eye, and we started to laugh about something. There's so much that we miss out when we walk around with our heads down, with our earbuds in. And this is not a criticism. I'm not judging people, because I do it too. It's not about the thing itself. It's about how much you do it. It's about what happens when you do it, what you miss out on, and how can we address that with willpower. So in the last 9 days of this digital detox, we will explore tools and habits and things that we can use to stay connected. Because the stickiest thing about technology, the most manipulative thing about technology, is FOMO, fear of missing out. So think about that for a minute as well. Like when you wake up in the morning, do you think about all the posts that you've missed overnight, especially like me, if you live in a different time zone? Posts that our loved ones shared, texts that are in our inbox. But this is a really good opportunity, again, when we're talking about weaknesses or willpower, is to ask ourselves, how many of our connections are actually real friends? I mean, online connections. When was the last time we hung out and socialized with them? If they live far away, when was the last time that we literally picked up our phone as a phone and called them or sent them a letter? How much time do we give our online connections versus our real life, right in front of us, connections? And I got to say at this point, animals are so powerful in that regard and keeping us in the present moment, because animals, if an animal needs your attention, it gets it. This is another question to think about in terms of social media. Do we enjoy reacting to triggering or controversial posts? So, do we get triggered into impulsive reacting that for a short period of time, maybe a few minutes, makes us feel really good, really important, really seen, but after a few hours or so, no longer reflects what we think about that situation? So, the call to action today on day 12 is to take your notepad or your journal, look at your SWOT chart, and flip over the W of weaknesses, flip it into willpower, and spend some time thinking about areas of your life, your screen time life, where you can start to exercise more control. And here are some gentle reminders. Continue to use your props. What are the props? It's your journal, it's your notepad, it's analog stuff, stuff in the real world that is not electronic. Use your candles, have a morning ritual. And remember the 3 Ps, the 3 pillars of screen addiction. And those are the ping, the proximity, and the permissions on our devices. Remember, small but consistent steps forge the way. And that is a direct quote, actually, from Atomic Habits, a very interesting book and something that we can apply here. I'm just going to turn the light on. I'll be right back. Suddenly got very dark. So let's stay in the light. Let me know. Let me know what you think about this this idea about willpower and weaknesses. Let me know what you're discovering about this process. It's a collective experience. This is not just me laying my ideas out there. This is a real thing. Screen addiction. And we're all learning. We're still learning how it's affecting us, especially our kids. So let's go in line, right? Let's open up a connection to source, the original operating system. As we've said many times, we are a plug and play technology that was designed to interface, to signal, and to receive in the quantum field. Because at the end of the day, everything is frequencies and resonance. So today we're going to go down into the earth, but we're going to go somewhere on the planet and have a different experience. We're going to go to Antarctica. So in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine flying around the globe until you get to the top of the planet, where it's a snowy cap. And then come back down and stand on a giant glacier. It's huge. It's like a mountain. It's blue-white and glistening against a deep blue, clear sky. All around it, the water is deep and grey-blue, icy, freezing, in fact. And yet you put your bare feet on this glacier, but your feet don't feel frozen. If anything, they feel warm. Because the water that this glacier is holding is billions of years old. and contained within its frozen nature is the history of the planet. These are ancient waters. And when we connect to them, we become one with that earth wisdom. So feel that connection coming in now. It's a different kind of connection than the one we usually get when we put our feet on the earth. Very good. And now what we're going to do today is we're going to drop down into that ice. Now it's really immense. There's a long way to drop. But drop down through that glacier, through that frozen water, become part of it in a molecular way. And as you flow down through that ice, through that solid water, that ancient primordial water, you drop down into the deepest, darkest part of this Arctic Ocean. It's black when you drop out of the glacier and into that water. And even though it's freezing and black, you're not afraid and you are not cold. You slide straight down, 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 down into what feels like a never-ending cavern. But it's simply a portal through the elemental kingdom and down into the center, the inner chamber of the earth herself. Now you know the way. So zero in and then become one with that round, black, eternal, solid space that feels like the womb waters, that is like the void. You're safe, you're connected, you're nurtured in that place to everything. Surrender to that connectivity. No, there is nothing to be afraid of, nothing to worry about, because you are held here in the wisdom of the earth herself. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back up through the water, through the blackness, up through the ice, through that giant glacier, bringing with us the encoded ancient wisdom of those primordial waters on a molecular level. So bring that up, bring it all the way up like a spiral until it reaches the soles of your feet. And as it does so, that tingling, that vibration, that feeling of home rises up through your legs, sturdy and strong, into your torso, clearing out anything that should not be there, anything that feels uneasy. Rising up to the shoulders, down the arms, into the fingers, until eventually it rises up like a tide, up through the neck, up into the temple, which is our brain, our mind, the eternal mind, and the monkey mind. And as it submerges that space, we come into silence. Because harmonic resonance is a stronger vibration than anything that we can run. Step number 1, you are grounded to the earth. Step number 2, we're now going to imagine that we're in Antarctica and we're underneath the aurora borealis. So in your mind's eye, look up at a sky filled with twinkling stars, perhaps a planet or two. But the backdrop is a display of colours that is breathtaking. Purples and mauves, and aquamarine and blue, and hints of peach. See the glowing sky. Feel the sparkle of the stars. And know that you're underneath a beautiful power which comes directly from the cosmic center itself. Now, through 5 deep breaths, we're going to pull down the energy, the frequency, the vibration that is coming through the aurora borealis from the cosmic center. And we're going to infuse and activate, illuminate our light body. Step number 2 is complete. Light body is activated. Step number 3, we're going to take the colors of the aurora borealis and we're going to reflect them back through our own magnetic field. So it's not that we're pulling this in, it's that we're mirroring. We are reflecting our own inner aurora borealis back out into that night sky. So as you move and prime your electromagnetic field, see it erupt into a rainbow spectrum of colors. And when we use our hands and our fingertips like this, we are cohering our electromagnetic field and bringing that information back in through the torus field into the inner sanctum. Very good. Step number 3 is complete. Electromagnetic field has been primed. Step number 4, we're going to activate the Om I am. So that's the Om powered I am that I am that I am. And we say this because we declare it so. It's very important that we say these words out loud and feel the vibration of them, because you are not your label. You are not your name. You are infinite and unlimited. So put your hands together. This is a sacred act. Place them in front of your heart and press in very gently, but feel that connection to the heart. Very powerful center. And now gently open up. Open up the portal. And by now you will have realized that just by doing this, you gain access to that inner light, the Shekinah, the divine in residence. So in your mind's eye, see that glorious light pouring out of your heart in all directions. This is your rising sun. This is the resurrection of the child God within. Now the 9 call this unfolding like a Spanish fan or a peacock's feathers. So expand and unfold and let that Shekinah light, that holy, powerful light, golden rays, beam out and illuminate your electromagnetic field. Behold the glory that you are. This power is always available to you. Step number 4 is complete. So bring your hands together for step number 5. And as you do so, notice the charge that has been generated. It's quite tangible, actually, in your electromagnetic field. That's energy. It's thicker, isn't it? It's more potent. It's because you've charged it and primed it and filled it with the empowered I am. So bring your hands together now. And we're going to open up to the vortex, which is the power of 9, a safe connection to the cosmic center, where we will receive the light codes through the crown chakra, grounded, protected, empowered, sovereign. And then we're going to run that light beam with the light codes in it straight down like a laser beam into the heart. Now it's only the heart as a sphere, centripetal, centrifugal in nature, that can extract and expand that cosmic light out, integrate it with everything that we have already done, and generate what we call deep coherence. Now, I see this as a ripple on a still lake. Some people see this as a waveform. It doesn't matter. You might just feel it. Just feel that rippling out. That is coherence. So let that roll out in all directions through your electromagnetic field, which is primed, until it reaches the very edge of the immediate electromagnetic field. Of course, it runs far greater than that. But when it reaches the ends of your fingers, just let go. It's really important to let go. Surrender to it. That wave will run for you all day long. Surrender to everything that your higher power, the I am, has in store for you. Just let go and let God. That's true coherence. You're grounded, you're present, and you're empowered. And as we always say to you, notice what you notice in the quantum field today. Become experts in the information exchange. It goes two ways, not one. It's a conversation. And we're invited after this transmission to sit for as long as we can in the silence and the stillness of deep coherence. And so it is. You have a beautiful day. God bless you. God bless you. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Don't forget, let us know how you're doing. Let us know what you're experiencing, because I'd like to know. I'll see you soon.